Alarm bells are sounding based on biosecurity threats. That's one of the headlines that we're going to be talking about today. What are we actually discussing that shows that the sickness that we may be dealing with next, or the sickness that we're seeing, all this pushback, are we actually going to see a biosecurity threat for America? I told you this a few videos ago before this story even broke, that I actually believe a lot of this that you're seeing now is because it is a way that they can try to slow down the movement of finding waste, fraud, and abuse. We'll discuss a biosecurity threat that we just received. Also, we're going to talk about some moves by some governors talking about getting rid of property tax. DeSantis is pushing it. Vivek, who's running for Ohio governor, just came out against income tax and parts of property tax. Huge. We're going to see this as a nationwide movement. And it's amazing how the American people would push back on that, especially if it would save them, really hundreds and thousands of dollars each and every year. Also, we're going to talk about the release of the files, if you know what I mean. Bondi, Patel, Trump, everybody's talked about releasing these files. Somehow they're not releasing them yet. Should have been the first thing done as soon as Patel and Bondi got into power. The longer they wait, the more risk it becomes. I have a breaking story about investigative journalists talking about how they're actually destroying these files. Not this administration, but the bureaucracy behind it. The more they destroy, the less we know. And is that what we're going to find out? Oh, well, here's the truth. Well, we can't really tell you what the truth is because documents are destroyed. We're going to discuss that. Also, a lot of people are getting fired in government. Is there a threat that we should be worried about? There's a new story that shows some of the intelligence people who had, secret and top secret clearances. If they get fired, are they going to start exposing secrets of America? It's amazing how these people even got to that level to have this clearance that we're doubting now that they can't be trusted. Wow. A lot of stories to talk about today. Let's jump into them. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, we ask that you please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up if you like the content. Now let's talk about the biosecurity alert first. There's a new report that says, we've talked about measles outbreak in Texas and New Mexico. We've talked about the bird flu. We've talked about this new CV strain over in China. And I made a comment, if you remember, about 3 or 4 days ago about how instead of looking at this as sickness, this may just be a bioterror. And I got chided for that. I got a lot of pushback for that. But to be honest with you, why else would we be doing mutations and not thinking it's some kind of terror alert? I want to read this new story that just came out. And this just came out literally yesterday, last night, to be honest with you. It says tuberculosis outbreaks emerge as a legal pose, listen to this, as a biosecurity threat for the nation. Alarm bells are sounding over the biosecurity threat posed by the legal alien invasion as concerns mount over spread of infectious disease all over the country. Millions of migrants were dumped into this country by the last Biden regime. And without proper vetting, it is a public health consequence now that we will face for years on end. And people say, well, how can you say that? That's so one-sided. Listen to this. It says, this release is proven because TSA under Biden focused on speeding up checkpoints for illegals, allowing them to go through without IDs, and allowing them to go through national checks and safety protocols to get them into this country quickly. Now, you can't tell me. You can say it's idiocracy, you can say it's foolish, you can say dumbing, you can say purposeful. I don't care what you say. The bottom line is the problem may be here now without us having a solution to it. So now, why are we seeing quote-unquote outbreaks of this new flu? Why are we seeing outbreaks of measles? Why are we seeing outbreaks of tuberculosis? Things that we haven't seen forever. Because what has actually been said is we lapsed in judgment. Not us, but the last administration lapsed in judgment and allowed these things to take place. Literally. So now people are saying, are we really seeing the fact that this could actually be a true biosecurity attack? Something that could cause most Americans to either get more hooked on some kind of medicine, more sick and less immunity, and not being able to take care of themselves and allowing the government to step in. Now, if Trump wouldn't have won, what in the world would have happened? I'm being honest now. So we're hearing the threats of biosecurity, and that's scary enough, but then to see the fact that the TSA, the working government, listened to their boss and said, all right, Captain, we'll let them in. And you'd have thought, you're endangering your own families. You're endangering the own people of America by not doing proper vetting and protocol checks. It's amazing. You can go anywhere and you will be stopped as an American citizen to make sure your passport matches up, to make sure your ticket matches up, to make sure everything is done. You know, dotted I's and crossed T's. However, TSA has come out now and knowingly said they let people in without actually getting checked. They fast-tracked them through, and now we're seeing a biosecurity threat for health. What are we doing? Now that brings me up to a few more points, and Trump has done well. He actually just fired the ICE. He just fired one of the ICE directors because he was not deporting enough, and that's a good sign because again, promises made, promises kept. Now here's where I want to push back on this administration because here we are. We've seen Bondi and Patel and Bongino. I really do like. I'm not the biggest Bondi fan. I've told you that before, but all three of them, including John Ratcliffe, including the representation from the House of Representatives dealing with declassifying documents, every one of them has said they're going to release this. Every one of them's been confirmed. They have no rights to hold information anymore, to declassify things like the Epstein list, to declassify certain things that were hidden by our government. Crickets. You hear that pause? That pause means we've not heard anything yet. I hope by the time this video goes out, they feel enough pressure to release this. I want you to listen to this. Michael Schellenberger, the investigative journalist, shared this. It says, FBI whistleblower told him and confirmed that the source inside FBI, that FBI was destroying evidence on servers before it can be released. It says, this is not being disclosed. Everybody's talking about releasing this. Everybody's talking about making sure we understand the declassification. The longer you wait, the more it's going to get destroyed. So all of a sudden, if we all of a sudden hear, oh, well, here's the whole list. Well, we're missing 152 pages. Oh, we're missing 2,000 pages. Oh, we forgot these documents because they were already destroyed. But you got everything you need. And somehow it's going to be redacted, and you're not going to actually know the truth because the ones that need to be destroyed the quickest somehow just come up missing. This is where I push back on politicians, and this is where I push back on bureaucracy, no matter what letters behind their name, no matter who they say they stand for. What is actually being hidden? There was a comment made, and I thought this was good. It said, this is not just a ploy to make American bureaucracies and crimes be declassified. This may open doors for the world. And what he was trying to do was say, well, their justification in not releasing it is because it could cause ramifications across the world. Good. Good, because what we should do is see that we don't want corruption leading us. That's what's mind-blowing about these people pushing against Doge. That's what's mind-blowing about not declassifying this. If we have something to hide, that means we shouldn't be hiding it, and we have no rights to hide it from the American people, especially when the American people are the ones paying this government to run. Think about this for a second. I'll get on a rant. I'm sorry. We literally elect people to do two things. To take our money and to put us in more regulatory bodies and more regulations to cause us more problems, almost like putting us in jail. What other situation would that make sense where we elect people to supposedly serve us, but actually what happens is they literally take our money and put us in more confined situations? Now, I own a farm. I don't have one animal, not one, that will literally go and put himself in confinement and say, don't feed me because I know it costs you money. Don't feed me. I'm going to put myself in this cage. No big deal. I just want to make sure that you know that, farmer. Not one. That's pretty stupid, isn't it? That's what we're doing. We listen to these congressmen and these representatives and these bureaucracies and the Senate. They tell us what they're going to do, and actually we think they're actually going to do it. And actually what they're doing is putting more regulations, burdens on you, and taking your money. And then spending money that we don't even have yet. So they're taking your grandchildren's money. Isn't that amazing? And what we're saying with this Michael Schellenberger situation is everybody's talked about exposing. And they may. But if they're literally destroying the information, what are we actually getting exposed? Are we going to see all declassifications? Or are we going to see, oh, well, it was just parts of it because the rest, it's gone? That's why I struggle sometimes, even with the people that say they're on our side. I can literally say, just for all means purposes, I can think of Thomas Massey, who literally has, to me, called for this, has not tried to justify or juxtapose anything different other than saying we need to declassify and the populist movement and libertarian movement of America is important. I can honestly say I don't know of any other one. I mean, Rand Paul definitely is better, but I don't know if he would be, Thomas Massey level. And I know that they're both from Kentucky, and that's great. Now, if you're in Kentucky, that's great. Other than you have McConnell, that's bad. But what I'm saying is, there's not a lot of people in Washington that actually stands up for you. I had a lady yesterday comment, and she said, well, why don't you believe in Musk? And then the next comment said, well, why would you believe in Musk? Okay, here's the thing. Musk may be doing great things now. That doesn't mean all of a sudden trust him for everything. What I told her was this. Do I believe any politician or any person or any billionaire or any narcissist or any person that is in Washington is looking out for Colby or my family? No. I believe they're going to do things for the American people that looks good and helps and of course benefits them too. But ultimately what it comes down to is responsibility from us to say, okay, I see crypto's falling. That's why I don't want to invest in crypto, because it just makes sense not to. I see the fact that our dollar is struggling. That's why I try not to get in debt. So I don't listen just to the representation telling me that the economy is in bad shape. I have to think for myself. I don't just listen to the government say they're going to take care of me, make sure I have tons of water and food and insurance, and that we're going to buy into these socialist insurance companies and we're going to become like the world and make sure that we're taking care of our people all the time. I just don't, because I don't think that government ever is going to do what is best for my family. So therefore, we have to take those responsibilities. Now, like the Epstein thing and all these declassifications, I'm cautiously optimistic. But the sad thing is, I don't know if anyone in Washington can ever be fully trusted. I hope they release. But with that release, are we going to get redactions? With that release, are we going to get half of it because the rest of it was destroyed? Unbeknownst to the leadership, when there's literally a whistleblower saying, Kash Patel, you better get in there because, my gosh, they're going to destroy it all before you release it, quote unquote, release it. Bondi said it's been on her desk for a few days now. If it's on her desk, why is it not in Americans' hands? We elect these people to serve us. We are the ones that are making and paying to make the government run. Why have we forgotten that? Do we need another Boston Tea Party? What I'm saying is, why do we think that it's okay for government to just take advantage of its people and we just allow it to happen? That's insane. And that brings me up to the next point. There's a new story that says, breaking news, top leadership at the CIA is concerned that anti-Trump personnel, the people that are getting fired, the people that are not motivated to stay to work for Trump, could sell out to foreign powers some of the intelligence they had from their top-level clearances. Okay, so a few things here. Why do we give top-level clearances to people who probably doesn't need them? Why are we just passing that out like it's candy? Don't we think that there's only a certain people that need quote-unquote top secret or clearance secret or, special secrets? Think about this now. If we say that top secret is top secret, but we have clearances for hundreds of thousands of people, how top secret is it? Really? And so now this is the ramifications of it. We're trying to save and help cut funds, cut people that's wasteful spending, like Doge is doing. And one of the alerts from some of the CIA operatives is, well, you better be careful, because the people that have intelligence, they may have secrets and they may expose secrets to foreign powers and sell those, and all of a sudden now we're in a catch-22. So it comes down to, we probably shouldn't have appointed or hired these people because they were probably unstable in the first place. Secondly, why would we give so many people top secret clearances? Again, we're electing these people to lead us, and then they make buffoonish decisions like this to put people in power who shouldn't have the secrets in the first place. And then on top of that, if we doubt any of these people are going to actually hold to whatever their disclosures are, and we think that they may give our secrets over to other governments, we would consider that treason, wouldn't we? So why is this not a bigger deal? No one's talking about this. And they said NSA, FBI, and CIA are dealing with this because they're scared that some of their people that have clearances could actually go and push against America by going to foreign powers. What? That should be on everybody's front page, and there should be major pushback on this. Now, I'm not saying you should over-surveil Americans, but what I'm saying is if you're firing these people and you gave them top secret clearances, you better make sure that they're on the up and up and not going to foreign governments. If you start seeing them fly over these countries, or you start seeing emails go to these foreign agents, that probably is a red flag. So we need to pay attention to this. So now we've talked, let's just go back through the story so far. We have biosecurity threats. We have the fact of yes, we're promising to release these documents that should have already been released, and now they're getting destroyed by bureaucrats. Now we see the fact that the bureaucracy that's getting fired could share our secrets. All these stories just prove that the government has failed us as Americans. And we just keep lackadaisically electing these same people to lead us. It's unbelievable. Now, a few good things. Ohio, hey, Vivek is running for governor there. Good luck to the people of Ohio, but he's came out and promised merit-based initiatives, but also pushing against income tax. Ron DeSantis, he's now aggressively pushing against property tax. Now you hear the rumblings of a few more conservative states doing the same thing. This is what we need. This is the right way forward. Quit taking my money. Quit putting laws on me, and quit taking advantage of me. That's what we should be asking of all our politicians. And not a one of them is doing that. That's why I go back to yesterday's video of how we should literally have audits, we should have drug tests, and we should have cognitive tests. If we have those things, you'd realize a lot of these senators and congressmen are failing you, and a lot of this bureaucrat is failing you, so that I think would actually help you justify to not pay taxes. I think it'd help you justify that we're not being served correctly by our leadership. So I love to see people like Vivek, and I love to see people like DeSantis, for their states at least, saying, look, what are we doing? Why are we taxing? I mean, we're in a surplus. Compared to California is in a deficit doing liberal policies. They literally are taking $50 million and allocating it and setting aside to stop the Trump agenda in California. However, now they're begging at the feet of Trump for $40 billion coverage to help with the fires. Now think about that for a second. If you live in California, your tax dollars that are way too high are going to literally stop the movement of the Trump agenda, which are part of the United States. But now they're going at the same breath and going and begging the federal government to give them $40 billion to help them with fire relief. Does that, again, I go back to all these stories so far. What we actually have come to realize with every one of these stories is that government will fail you. Politicians lie. And no one actually is looking out for you like you would look out for your family. Last night, I want to tell you a story. We're going to end it right here. Last night, my son was, Jennings, was sitting on a fence post. And it was, 4 or 5 foot up. He was just sitting there, got cold, put his arms in his shirt, and just fell off. When he fell off and he landed the way he landed, because he started crying, he was hurting. Now, I could have just said, oh, well, he'll be fine. I didn't do that because I love him. So what did? We rushed him to the doctor to verify he was okay, get the scans on his head and on his shoulder, make sure there's nothing wrong, and he's fine. We did that because we love him. We did that because we're responsible for him. We did that because this is the right thing to do. Now, the reason I bring that up is this. There may be good policies to help my children, save money. It may help my children to have better schooling like homeschool. It may help my children not to have some regulations on them. There may be great things that the government can do to help my child. But who personally helped my child more last night? Would the government come and pick him up and take him to the hospital? No. Would any bureaucrat, if I called him and said, look, come, hey, my son just fell off the fence, will you come get him and pick him up and take him to the doctor? No. Here's what I'm saying. There's 350 million people in America. Not every one of us want the same thing. So yes, we elect people to hopefully serve us, and therefore they tend to be milquetoast in most situations because they know they can't swing one way or the other because they want their job secure. I think of people like Ted Cruz. He wants to play to a patriot right front, but he just voted for a $340 billion extra spending bill that is going to spend more money than Doge has even broken and taken and stopped from spending. So what I'm saying is this. You have to realize between the biosecurity threat, between the fact of the getting rid of and destroying the documents, to the fact that we've heard politicians promises a lot of things and not actually held up to the bargain and actually held up to the deal, what we realize is we have to prepare and be responsible for ourselves. I go back to the things with the meme coins and casinos and things like Bitcoin and crypto. If you want to invest in that, so be it, fine. But because of the speculation, because there's no history to it, don't be upset if all of a sudden you lose your whole life savings in it. Actually, don't feel sorry for people who's like, I invested all my life savings in crypto and all of a sudden I lost it. Woe is me. I'm sorry. That's not a regulation problem. That's a stupidity problem. That's like me saying, okay, I'm going to cash out all my money, put all my cash in one location, and hopefully it won't get stolen. Well, if someone steals it, then we can't blame anyone for not being smart in that situation. Let's go back to my son last night. I love him so much, so therefore, like any of my children, like my wife, any of us, we're going to look out for the very best of my kids and my family and myself and my home, then my community and so forth. What I've realized is I'm just one of 350 million. And as much as I want every politician to do exactly what they promise, I have to realize they're not. I have to realize our government is too big. I have to realize that sometimes a reset would actually probably be good. Sometimes going through hard times makes us better. I tell you, every day I run 2 to 3 miles every morning. I literally despise it. I hate it. I don't get a runner's high. I don't enjoy it. But why do I do it? Because ultimately my health is better. Ultimately, I can keep my weight management down, and I feel better when it's all said and done. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't hard to do it. That doesn't mean that I love running each and every day, because I don't. Now, in government's perspective, we need to hear the declassification. We need to see the risk that we're under. We need to actually feel the pinch of the tariffs and maybe some hard times, because we've lived so coddled and so quote-unquote comfortable. If we don't start doing something and being responsible and taking responsibility personally, but also for our government, we're going to put ourselves in a tailspin and we're not going to be able to stop it. And you talk about a major depression. We're in foul shape and we've got to fix it. I don't look to Washington to fix all my problems. Fixing problems really starts at home, and then you work out from there. Yes, Washington can do a lot of things. Declassification, cutting the budget, cutting the spending, actually doing what they promised. Yes, all that's great. But then it still comes down to you taking responsibility to realize no one's going to take your kid to the hospital. It's going to be you. No one's going to fix your budget. It's going to be you. No one's going to feed you like the little baby birds. It's going to be you. So, when the government fails us, like we've seen in all these stories, from NSA, from TSA, from the threats, from the promises not actually going through, I don't want to say I told you so, but what I'm trying to say is this. It's okay. I still tell you to prepare. I still tell you to make sure you're being responsible, doing the things you can do, and control what you can control. Control the environment you can control. If you can't control everything, have a friendly respect for it. Don't worry about it. Understand the risk of it. See the problems of it, and prepare for it. I can't stop the government from going to digitized currency. I think it's stupid, but I can't stop it. So then, therefore, what do? I buy tangible assets. I make sure that I'm protecting myself as much as possible. I can't stop the government from spraying. I can't stop the government from using bad seed. All I can do is do more. I'm building more greenhouses. I'm building more closures. I'm learning how to grow indoors. I'm trying to do more to protect my family. So now, would I love to know what the declassifications of the Epstein list are? You better believe it. But at the same time, if it never happens, I have to still press on and know that I still can't trust politicians and I still can't trust anybody in bureaucracy, because sometimes they don't tell us the truth. I have to be the one to take responsibility for what goes on around me. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Comment below. This video had a lot of things in it, so I'd love to hear your opinions on some of the things I talked about. God bless.